Extreme solar energies are destroying our reality. 5D shift is becoming unbearable. When will it end? We are currently experiencing the most powerful solar energies Earth has experienced in perhaps hundreds of years. One thing we can do is question your reality, then change it. ThunderWizard.com is the website that supports this channel. I appreciate and need all of your support now more than ever. Go to ThunderWizard.com, check out all of the ways that you can subscribe to the channel. Every subscription gets you access to very powerful practices designed specifically to help you evolve into 5D. We've got higher dimensional energy practices, personal mentorship, spiritual counseling, live Zoom group classes. My books can be found at michaelwilliamdenny.com. And once again, tomorrow we will be having a live guided interdimensional meditation to bring the 5D solar flash event. So, extreme solar energies, the most extreme solar energies that are on Earth that have been here perhaps for hundreds of years. I'll put a link in the description. You can go check it out for yourself. But I know for a fact, based on my experiences, that this is the most energy we've had on this planet, certainly within my lifetime. And things have really gotten intense. Now, remember where we've just come from. So we've just come from the solar flash event did begin, because remember, the solar flash event is a series of solar waves, according to the light beings, a series of solar waves of love that will penetrate the earth and shift things up. Now, what they didn't tell me in that phrase was that, and it's going to be extremely challenging, you will feel like you're losing your mind, because in fact you are. Your 3D mind won't work in whatever this new reality is going to be, and so it has to be destroyed. It's going to fight tooth and nail to hold on to itself, because it's a program. It's a program that's built into this third dimension, and it's not going to just simply go away. It's not going to. I don't know why. I didn't necessarily, as far as I know, I didn't invent this scenario, but this isn't going to be an easy shift. And it's because right now, everybody is making their decision about where they're going to be. If you've noticed right now, the split among people is getting bigger and bigger every day. And I've never seen anything like this where there's been, such polarity, huge polarity in thoughts. And it turns out that makes sense because of the yugas that we're in. Again, people ask me, are we in Kali Yuga? We're not in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga ended, as you see here, and I encourage you to, pause it, take a screenshot of this, look at this. Kali Yuga ended in 1700, and we go through these Yuga cycles which don't last millions upon millions of years. That is a wrong calculation. I'm sorry, but even the majority of Hindus have it wrong. Sri Yukteswar, he understood what is really happening, and so we are now in what's called Dwapara Yuga. So if you see where that red line is, we're now going up. We've come through Kali Yuga. My hands are going the wrong way. We've gone through Kali Yuga, and we're coming out, and we're now going up. We're ascending back to Satya Yuga, which is 100% connection with the spiritual realm. And we are now in that yellow phase, which is called Dwapara Yuga. Dwapara means two, means half and half. And this is where 50% of the people are connected spiritually and the other 50% are not. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And so this has to happen. So this shifting of realities is built into the way these Yuga cycles work. we go through a period where things split in half. And so we're in that. And as you can see, we're right across from the Younger Dryas cataclysm, where we came out of Satya Yuga and then we crashed. And that started a descending cycle down into Kali Yuga. You know, what's interesting is when you look at things like Göbekli Tepe, which were built right after this cataclysm, they still are in Satya Yuga. They're still very spiritually minded, because they still have understanding of, you know, astronomy and astrology, and they were able to create these very powerful spiritual centers where people could still go and connect. They were still in Satya Yuga, but they had just come out of this horrific cataclysm. Anyway, I could go on and on. I've been revealed more and more. The light beings are revealing more and more about what was happening and what was going on with me at that time. But you know, I'll talk about that when I can share it with you more concisely and logically. In any case, so we're in Dwapara Yuga, half and half, and things are splitting. And you know, I don't know how much longer this is going to go on. I just know that it's very challenging. I've spoken with some of you, and you know, I'm in the same boat where I wake up every morning and the energy that I'm feeling is almost intolerable. It's gone beyond feelings of anxiety. You know, when we first started getting hit with these solar storms, I was feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of power, but I was able to relax into it and get into a state of bliss pretty well, more easily than I am now. But ever since August 6th, you know, August 6th is when the Atlas comet went in between the Earth and the Sun. And then the day that the Atlas comet left that connection with the Sun, the light beings gave me the hugest, most powerful energy upgrade I've ever gotten, but it was extremely uncomfortable. I'm grateful now that I've had it, because it was something I really needed, which was to get more deeply rooted in my root chakra, the earth element, because I was starting to get so loopy, and I was starting to have such difficulty functioning on this third dimensional level that I think they saw that, and they gave me something to help ground me and stay grounded. But that hasn't taken away the intense discomfort. I mean, it's maybe you're feeling it, but you know, there's just this intense feeling that something is coming, like there's a disaster right around the corner, some world-changing disaster. And I don't know what that is. I don't know, you know, how much of that is that the dark forces have something up their sleeve, because I think they do. Perhaps the fake alien invasion, perhaps some other false flag. It could just be that the worlds are going to shift and 3D is hanging on. It could be a combination of the two. But, you know, what is happening for me, which I think is happening for a lot of people, is the experiences that I'm having in higher dimensions are getting even more and more unbelievable, fantastical, and grandiose. And so that's making it harder and harder to function in this 3D world that we have to live in. And I mean, it's exemplary, but I had to buy a chair because there's no chairs here in this place that I can comfortably do my stuff in, and this chair is not comfortable either. So I'm just not comfortable. You know, last night the neighborhood was really loud, and I don't do well in loud neighborhoods. I don't have control over my immediate environment, and there's nothing more uncomfortable for a control freak like me than that. So I think we're all in that space where people are feeling at the end of their rope, at the end of their fuse. I've been feeling like that, at the end of my fuse. And literally last night, if there was a big red button that said, destroy the world and create the new one, I would have pushed it. I would have ended this world and created the new one. I don't have that ability, to the best of my knowledge. So again, as I'm saying, I'm having these experiences where, again, I'm being shown my Satya Yuga past lives, and what's coming. I'm being told of just unbelievably, fantastical, amazing, wonderful things that are coming, and my role in that. And yet my 3D reality is that I'm stuck. I can't do what I want. Financially, I'm in big trouble, and I shouldn't say I'm in big trouble, but I could be very soon. And I can't seem to plan my 3D life more than 2 weeks in advance. No matter how hard I try, I just can't see a future for it. And I don't like the options that I have. I'm going to have to leave my home, and I'm not living where I want to live, and I'm going to be perhaps living in an even worse situation for a few months, and I really have a hard time tolerating that. So let's take a look at what we can do to fix it. All this complaining. I'm not big on complaining. So I have to put the list in here. I didn't upload the list, so let me upload it here. So just give me a second here, and I'll have our list of things we can do to shift this reality. Surviving dimensional split, that's what it's called. Okay. So, this is the most intense solar energies in hundreds of years. I put a link in the description. You can hear it from the scientists themselves, that we've never been in this state. Definitely within the past 60 years, we've never had this level recently of solar energies. But when you look at it over hundreds of years, we're still, there's more solar energy hitting us now than ever before. And so then the result of that is that, if you're like me, it puts you in this state of incredible discomfort, a lot of just anxiety and discomfort. And if you're like me, you can't seem to think your way forward. Where are we going forward? I can't plan my life more than a couple of weeks going forward. And if you're also like me, and you're just having a hard time having all of these incredibly fantastical, grandiose experiences with energy and with light beings and in your meditations, and then trying to live in this third dimension, which is completely, totally it's just like a pale black and white photograph, and your meditations are like this 5D beautiful surround sound, amazing thing. If you're in that state, the split is happening with us as well, and it's really difficult. So anyway, we've got most solar intense energies in hundreds of years. The dimensional split is the most intense ever. And so I think what we're experiencing is in our bodies, because our bodies are physical reality. Our minds are physical reality. Our spirits are part of manifested, universe, and things are splitting. So we're splitting. And again, we have a choice. We have to choose. There's no middle ground. You can't just, pop a gummy or, meditate or, play a video game and have it be okay. You're gonna have to choose which frequency you want. And I think that's what's happening right now. So for me, working the 12 steps to 5D is more important than ever. So if you are experiencing this kind of discomfort, then this is something I can share with you. Working the 12 steps to 5D is absolutely paramount, because it gives you the tools to be able to make decisions and shift and take actions, even though your impulses are telling you to do something different. That's something I'm bumping into, even with my students, my apprentices, is that in some cases they're not able to overcome their third dimensional destructive impulses. They've got this, the same internal experience that I have. So we really have to have tools that give us the ability to make a decision about what we want to be and the actions that we want to take, and be able to take those actions regardless of the impulses, because it's not going to get easier. Your third dimensional impulses are going to, like last night, there were people being noisy. And it wasn't comfortable. In another circumstance, I might have been able to tolerate it, but in my heightened state of discomfort, like I said, I would have erased the entire neighborhood if I had I would have pressed a button and made everybody go into the cornfield. I would have wished them away into the cornfield. And so my impulses were, at a heightened level. So we've got to learn how to have our negative impulses or destructive impulses and take positive action without going into denial, and without, doing things to try and numb ourselves out of our feelings. So the 12 steps to 5D is more important than ever. In case you're new to the channel, you can just simply go to the playlists and go to 12 steps to 5D and do them. Don't just watch them, you have to do them. All right, remember that this earth is being destroyed. So again, the last gasp, the most dangerous animal is a wounded animal, that's on death's door. And they're backed into a corner and they're mortally wounded, but they're not dead yet. That's when they're most destructive, when they're most dangerous. So remember that this earth is being destroyed. So the third dimension is fighting for its life. This is its last gasp. And it's going to be extremely challenging and difficult. Would have been nice to have something easy. Really wish I could have just stepped through a doorway on the 6th and been somewhere where I want to be, but I'm going to have to deal with this like everybody else. It's a very challenging shift, and we have to make the decision, and there will come a point when we won't have anything helping us make this decision except for the decision itself. There won't be any feelings about it. There won't be anything happening in your third dimensional reality. Unless this big solar flash comes, like a lot of people are saying, according to some people, there's going to be a big solar flash event, and when it hits, everybody will feel it, and then you'll be able to maybe, shift. I don't know. Better safe than sorry. So I'm not gonna bank on that. So do not invest in this 3D consensus. Let's see, do I have? Yeah, okay. So we'll do these next two together. Do not invest in the 3D consensus. Dark forces are about to unleash a final solution. So if you haven't noticed already, the powers that be are not even trying to hide what they're doing. They can't, even if they wanted to. There's purported video of relief camps, volunteer people bringing supplies to the victims of Hurricane Helene. And so they've got encampments there where they're out there helping people and bringing supplies. And there's a video of a Black Hawk helicopter going in and, swooping down and destroying the camp. And, so the dark forces aren't even hiding what they're doing. They know that we're going to see what they're doing. And so they are desperate. They know that they are losing control. And so, bullies and psychopaths and narcissists, what they do when you threaten to leave? They lock you in the basement. They don't try and talk you out of it, or they don't go, okay, I can see that you really don't want to do this anymore. All right. No, they double down harder, and they show their true colors. Up until locking you in the basement, they pretend like, no, you're free to come and go, but you should stay, and here are all the guilt reasons you should stay. And then you wake up and you go, I'm not doing this anymore. And they go, all right, well, go downstairs. I've got a place for you. And they put you in the whatever they do. They don't hide anymore that they're going to control you and you don't matter and you're there only for them. So I don't know what's coming. I'd like to believe that we can stop it from coming through our meditations and our practices. I'd like to believe that, but I think it would be safe to accept that possibility. Clearly, there are people in this world who are experiencing that, people in the Middle East, people in Ukraine, and people in places like the Carolinas and in the Appalachians, and probably now here in Florida after Milton. There are people that now know. There's no hiding it. So anyway, do not invest in the 3D consensus. Dark forces are very possibly, I'm not saying this is definite, but I think it's possible that they are going to unleash a final solution, sort of like a false flag event, fake alien invasion. So meditation to bring 5D is most difficult but most important now. And I'm sharing my experience as well. It's taking everything I have to get out of my negative thinking and to get out of feeling powerless and catastrophizing my feelings and my actual real 3D life, which has become extremely, well, it could be a lot worse, but it's very challenging for me. And if something doesn't change, I don't know what my choices will be going forward, but really don't have the kind of control over my immediate environment that I am used to and would like to have. So meditation to bring 5D is the most difficult. So this is something that's happening. So on the one hand, there's a huge part of me that's saying, okay, I can't keep just daydreaming and fantasizing. I have to focus on real world issues. And I know I'm not alone. There are people that I've talked to who have things a lot worse than I do. Money issue, housing issues, and things like that, and health issues. And just some people, just the emotional toll of the shift is debilitating them. And this is, what was I saying? So meditation is the most difficult because wanting to believe, because when you go there, for me, when I go to that 5D place, it is so beautiful and so wonderful, but yet so frustrating because it's just out of my reach. And, that makes it very difficult. It makes me not want to do it because I don't want to be reminded of what I want but I don't have. During, when the 6th was coming and I thought I was going to be leaving, I thought it might be a good idea for me to start fantasizing and meditating about where I want to be. So I started watching videos of, the places in Australia that I was living in, the forests and all that. And once I heard the birds, I just broke down and I wept because I became so aware of how badly I want to be there and I'm not living there. It made me so sad. I had to stop doing that. And that's kind of what's happening. Maybe for you too, but for me, when I go into 5D, it's so beautiful. When I come back, it's just, it's heartbreaking. And, there's a part of me that wants to just get into the consensus and buy into it and invest in Bitcoin and see if I can get some money together. But I think all that stuff is going away. And so this is a very, very challenging time for me, probably for you as well. So meditation to bring about 5D is most difficult, but still, it's the most important thing. And then lastly, communication and reliance on light beings is essential now. So, the light beings are still here for us. And again, it's that same challenging difficulty of connecting to something that beautiful, but then the reality of being in this world with all of the stuff that's going on and the pull that this 3D has to say, come back and get involved in this and invest in that and get this thing. And there's something coming, by the way. There's another one of these. Maybe not needlecraft, but there's something coming that they're going to try and impose on us. I'm okay if that doesn't happen, but I think it's very possible that maybe within the next few months. Bear in mind, this election is an absolute nightmare for the powers that be. They've tried to delete their least favorite candidate 3 times now. That's not even counting all of the disqualifications they've tried to do, all the legal warfare they've put against their least favorite candidate. And so they've failed. And I think we had a hand in that. Our meditations had a hand in that, because there were people predicting. There were people who had these psychic visions that that least favorite candidate was going to be offed. And I think we changed that. I think we shifted that with our live guided interdimensional meditations. You heard me talk about it if you've been following the channel. So I think there's they're going to do whatever they can to distract from the election, because if the election is held fairly, I don't think there's any way that the Dark Force preferred candidate can win. And so I think there's a real possibility that the election will not be certified. Because if you remember last time, the vice president had the ability to go through the process to veto the whole thing. And he didn't do that. I mean, he followed the rules, in case you didn't know. He followed the rules. I'm not saying he should have done differently, but a lot of people didn't like it. But imagine what happens when it's flipped now, and we've got the vice president has I wonder if somebody will bring that up. The current vice president has a conflict of interest, because the vice president is the one that certifies the vote if there's any objections, or doesn't certify the vote if there's any objections. I hadn't thought about that. Nobody's talked about that. But what if we have the same scenario we had last time, but this time we have the vice president who's also running for president. Maybe she will be disqualified from that. But something's going to happen, and I think it's going to potentially cause a huge disaster, which, right now there's all kinds of legislation going into effect where the military can be used domestically, and that's up until been against the law. So anyway, just don't be surprised if something doesn't come in to distract that, another one of these kinds of things or something different, and you'll be perhaps asked or potentially forced to do something. So just be aware that that's a possibility. And my suggestion to you is to listen to your soul and to listen to your instincts, and only do what is in your best interest. That's one of the reasons I'm glad to be in this state of Florida, because I think this is one of the safe places to be, like Texas and Florida. Anyway, all right, so that's it for me, guys. Whoops, my list. Did I finish my list? All right, so yeah, so communication and reliance on light beings is essential now. We really need that, and to trust the universe. This is something I need to hear it. I'm talking to myself. Trust the universe. Trust, because we live in a just multiverse. It's all a choice, and I have complete control over what I choose. And if I choose 5D, it means I'm choosing the difficult choice, and it's might even get more difficult before it gets easier. So I take full responsibility for that. And I'm going to continue to reach out to my light being friends, and I'm going to continue to accept what they tell me, and I'm going to continue to trust the multiverse, and I'm going to continue to trust to believe what I've been told about my role right now and going forward. And having said that, great segue into please be a part of these live guided interdimensional meditations, and please support the channel. I need your support now more than ever. Well-wishings are great. Sending me kudos, I love that. The most important, most helpful thing is to subscribe at thunderwizard.com or go to the shop and look for the practices. Real, actual, physical support of the channel is most appreciated at this time. That's it, my friends. I love you all. Please take very good care of yourselves. I will see you all very soon.